The more often that you respond to that tone, the less you get done. The less you get done, the less productive you are. The less productive you are, the less money you make.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast.
Minisode.
I think it's a problem that every appraiser deals with, and really anybody deals with, right? It's this constant, you're working along, you're in the zone, and that goes off. How do you handle the constant that are coming into your computer and your phone and everywhere else? We're going to talk about it today. First, I want to pause here and remind you that we're sponsored by ANOW Software. ANOW is the software that can be used by appraisers across the nation, created by an appraiser, by the way, to manage everything in your appraisal office. It's an amazing software. It can be handled from any device that's got internet, and even without internet, but it's got to update at the internet. Check it out. Go to anow.com. That's anow.com. All right, folks, it's a constant thing in our lives, right? We're working away, we're focused, we're doing whatever we're doing, and then that comes on, right? You hear that and you're like, let's be honest. I just pause for a second and be honest with yourself. It's just you and I talking, right? I'm not going to share it with the world. Not like I have a podcast or anything. Please ask yourself this question, or answer this question. When that tone goes off, what happens? And I'm talking about physiologically to your body, what happens? Now, folks, I think there's pretty good record out there, pretty good data out there saying that it's pretty rare for someone to not have a serotonin uptick when they hear that. And what happens is your body goes into response mode, right? I'm working away, I'm doing a podcast, and that happens in the background. What happens immediately? The brain triggers the body and says, oh, response needed. That means I've got to respond. Salivation, right? the bell and the old psychological deal that they go back to constantly about the salivating dogs, the Pavlov's dogs, right? And they hear the bell and they start to salivate, even though the bell means nothing except what food is on the way. And I think that we as human beings have the same issue, that we are constantly dealing with the distractions. So my question for you today is, what do you do with those damn email notifications? Okay, they're going to be going off all day. What do you do to remain successful, right? Even though you've got things that have to be done. I want to give you a couple of ideas that I think will help you to be a little bit more productive. But first, I want to pause and remind you about another thing that will help you to be more productive as a business owner. Do you know where you're at? Do you know what your numbers are? Just this morning, I was in a P&L review with my boss, and we were talking about how our last month went. And immediately, folks, I could tell them everything I need to tell them because the numbers are in front of me. That's what ANOW can do for you. You can simply click a couple of buttons and you know exactly where you're at with your numbers. You know what you did last month. You know what you did last week. You know how many orders are overdue. Another thing I did this morning is I looked in there to find out what we are doing with our tracking on overdue orders. Are we turning in things after the due date? And I can know that at the touch of a button. That's what ANOW can do for you and more. Check them out. Go to anow.com. That's anow.com. All right, folks, we are back. We are talking about this annoying thing. Okay, when you hear that, what do? Your body responds, right? And it's almost like you can't help it, right? You're working on a report. You're at comp number 3. You're trying to figure out what the condition adjustment is. Oh, all of a sudden, what was that? Oh, there's a message. And we get distracted and we go to another monitor and we're looking there and we're seeing what's coming. Oh, it's an order. Great. That's wonderful. We take care of that. We just get back into our report. Oh yeah, where was I? Condition adjustment. Okay, great. So if I take this and I carry the one, oh, what's that? And what do? We turn over to the other computer monitor. We took a look at what's going on. Oh, it's a revision request. Well, I better get that done. They've only got a 4-hour turn time on that. And you start to wrap that up and all of a sudden it comes. You see what I'm getting at? And I think that even without recognizing it, that's sometimes what our lives are like, right? We are constantly distracted by the tones that come in constantly. So what do you do? You can't just turn them off, right? I mean, you've got a business to run. You can't just turn them off and just ignore them, because if you miss that, you might miss a new order. And if you miss that, you might miss an opportunity that you wouldn't have otherwise. And if you miss this, you might realize, oh crap, I've got an overdue report I got to get in, right? Those tones mean something. We've learned just the Pavlov's dogs, we've learned that they do mean something. That if we just ignored them, that we would be in trouble. So I don't think that's the solution. But the solution I'm going to give you, at least a partial solution that I'm going to give you today, is to turn off the damn notifications. Now, hear me out. I know that immediately you're going to go, but Dustin, what about those bids? What about those orders that they send out to 4 different appraisers and whoever acts first gets it? Can I just be blunt? Folks, if you're dealing with those kind of clients, I don't envy your job. Okay, now I know some of you are like, well, Dustin, don't you know the interest rates are up and mortgage applications are down? We take anything we can get. Folks, I'm not opposed to that line of thinking. And I've picked up a couple B- clients lately as well to keep things rolling. But I'll be damned if I'm going to sit there and listen to this all day long and respond to it immediately. I'm just not going to do it. So number one is what Tim Ferriss talks about in his book, The 4-Hour Workweek. It's called time blocking. Time blocking is simply this. It's setting aside time for certain things. Okay. Let's say it's every half hour. Let's wean off of this slowly. Let's say every half hour you have it set that you're going to check your email. Okay. Now, if you're involved in something, stay involved in that. But let's just say that you, instead of responding every single time you hear that you wait and first of all, turn them off. Turn off the notifications. There's absolutely no reason that you have to respond so quickly to an email that you've got to have it pop up on your screen and interrupt whatever you're doing. The experts, by the way, out there give the 7-minute rule. I don't know if you've heard this. 7-minute rule basically means this. If you are deep in thought about something and you get distracted by that and lose your focus, it takes a full 7 minutes to get back into the same state of mind that you were in previously. Now, that doesn't mean it takes 7 minutes to start working again, but it does mean it takes 7 minutes after you hear this to get back into the mode that you were in before, that deep, conscious, decision-making mode. Folks, that is a killer for time production for your business. Now, if you're going to argue with me that you might miss an order if you don't move to your email every single time you hear this, I'm going to argue with you that due to the 7-minute rule, you're going to take a hell of a lot longer doing an appraisal if you constantly are being distracted by that. Can you tell I'm enjoying the sound effects today? The idea that you're going to miss out if you don't respond to that tone, I'm gonna back that up by saying I think you might miss out by responding to that tone, because the more often that you respond to that tone, the less you get done. The less you get done, the less productive you are. The less productive you are, the less money you make. So, folks, if that doesn't encourage you, I hope something else will. But this idea that you have to constantly respond is just silly. Now, one thing I will leave you with is this idea that it shouldn't be you responding anyway. And the idea of law of delegation, getting a customer service rep or somebody who can watch that email, that's their job. It's their actual job to respond to that, right? That's going to be much, much better than you trying to do it all on your own. If you're tired of doing it on your own and want some assistance, I encourage you to join our All-Star team, folks. It is a great group of people who surround themselves with goodness and success, and we're constant every day. We're on the All-Star team group Facebook page talking about this kind of thing, talking about success principles, talking about, maybe you're struggling with a particular report. You will never get made fun of in my group. It is a positive, uplifting, there to support one another group. Please join us at theappraisercoach.com/memberships.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.